The new phrase Internet of Things, IoT, is now becoming popular, and it is obvious that there is benefit of sharing data from anywhere to anywhere. But systems are still using conventional cloud architecture, which is slower and less reliable than the way open automation software has supported its customers. Open automation software has provided customers to real-time data over the Internet for more than 10 years now. Open Automation Software was the first SCADA company to offer smart client deployment for HMI, trending, and alarming with 100% managed .NET components. Open Automation Software is also the first SCADA company to provide visualization, trending, and alarming for the iPhone when it was first released, and also for the Android when it was also released. In this video, I will show you how to get all of your information system and plant data onto your iPhone and Android systems in less than 1 minute in 3 easy steps using a standard internet connection. In this video presentation, I'm going to show you how you can host your own live data with 100 nanosecond resolution and guaranteed data quality using our Open Automation software. In a typical cloud system, data is pushed up to the cloud, and then client applications connect to the cloud and bring that information back down. This is really great for videos and images, pictures, even documented files, but it has an inherent problem for real-time information systems and SCADA systems. In that, we don't know what the data quality is, and we don't know how fresh that data is, and it also has a delay in the data transfer. So if we can directly connect to the data source without hosting data up to the cloud, we can then verify that the data quality is good. At Open Automation Software, we run as a service-oriented architecture where we can do service-to-service communications and client-to-service communications. And we can do this for up to 10,000 server nodes, each having up to 1 million tag values, and each server node can connect to up to 10,000 client servers. Each Open Automation software can have all kinds of different data sources that are possible. The most common that we have are a REST interface and also JSON interface. We have Microsoft Excel can be a data source. We can have OPC servers or clients. We can have direct communications to Modbus, Allen Bradley, and Siemens controllers. The most powerful interface that we have is the .NET interface with the .NET connector, and this way we can bring in data from web services, Windows services, or even WinForm applications. We can also get data from SQL Server, Oracle, and MySQL, and we can connect to remote Open Automation software services as well to have service-to-service communications. Each of these data sources can also be a client, so we can send values on back to those data sources, and we also have connections to HMI, trending, and alarming for Android, iPhone, and Windows desktop applications. This is done through our products Open Automation Software, WPF HMI, WinForm HMI, and Web HMI interfaces, as well as trend and alarm interfaces. And we can even call you on the phone or send you a text or an email when an alarm occurs or out of normal condition. And all of the data is openly accessible. That's one of the things that we pride ourselves on, is that you'll be able to access the data openly. Even when we're logging to SQL Server, Oracle, or MySQL, the data will be in open format. We can even connect to third-party SCADA systems like Wonderware, iFix, and WinCC, and Rockwell's RSView. So those applications, we can connect to them either as an OPC server or an OPC client. Let me show you how this is done quite easily. Let's set up some data source from an OPC server using our one-click OPC feature. We can also use our one-click Allen Bradley feature if you want to automatically set up data from your Allen Bradley devices as well. So I'll just create a group here called My OPC Server. And in that group, what I'll do is I'll right-click and select Add Tag, and I'll use the Add Multiple Tags from OPC Server, or use the one-click OPC. What I'm using here is the Configure application to configure the tags in the real-time service. This is on my own local laptop that I have. I'm going to add these tags while the system is running. Little prompt there that does say it is more efficient to do it while it's not running. So if you're bringing in 1 million data points, yeah, you probably want to stop runtime when you're browsing OPC servers, but there's not many OPC servers that can have 1 million data points as well. You can also go into each OPC server and select a subgroup within that OPC server and get only those values. I'll select Add Tags, and now we're adding all of the items from that Kepware OPC server into the real-time service here. And now we can share that data live, accurately, and securely using a binary transport over a TCP port that is also encrypted. So that is one thing that you can also at Open Automation Software. Even though data is openly accessible, we have security in each server that you can set up user login credentials, also from service-to-service communications as well, so that you can only authorize remote users to access that data. So now that we have the data on my laptop, I want to host this data on the internet. That's really simple. We have a dedicated server. That's all you need somewhere. That could be hosted with GoDaddy or Rackspace, or your favorite web hosting system that has a Windows PC. That is a requirement. So we have a Windows server out there. We have one currently at opcsystems.com. Now I have already set up my laptop to be authorized to share data to that server. So if you want to run your own test using our server, easily done. Just contact us at support@opcsystems.com or visit our website at opcsystems.com and call us, and we can easily show you how you can host your own data from your system through our server just as a test. So now I'm set up where I have data hosted on the internet, and let's take a look at that data. What we could do now is using I'm going to use the one-click web HMI. That's one of the things we'll use here to look at the values. And what I've done here is I have set up the live data cloud node as OAS _Sony. That was the hosting name that automatically brought out my server, my notebook computer name here, that I'm then sharing as the registered live data cloud node. So if I put that in as my live data cloud node and this as the cloud server itself, I'll save those values, and now I'll view that website, and I can view this website on an Android phone or an iPhone or an iPad, and now I have live values being hosted from my laptop. Now that might not seem all that impressive, but if you actually understood what's happening, I'll give you an idea of what the network setup is currently. So I'm currently located here in Australia, and that's where my laptop is itself. And now using that one-click tags, I set up my real-time service from the OPC server and hosting that data on my laptop using the live data cloud feature that I just did. And now if we know that the server itself is located in the United States. So the data is actually being piped through that central server in the United States. And now anywhere in the entire world I will be able to access that data through any of the applications. And I just showed you the one-click web HMI. Let me show you another one. We'll come back down here to my own laptop and bring the values back to my own desktop here in Australia using a product, just a simple feature called one-click HMI. Okay, so let's do that one. So what we'll do, let's see if it has, we'll put in that remote server that's in the United States in the network node. And when it's connecting to that network node itself, it is probably going to bring up the tag values on that remote server. So when I select OAS Sony, I see now all of the tags listed from my notebook. Let me scroll down the list under the one-click HMI feature, and we'll look at some of the values from my OPC server from Kepware. So there are my values from my laptop being hosted on the internet, coming back to me in a .NET application. I can show you this also a little bit more simply, is actually browsing for that tag specifically, OPC Excel connector. And so let me again specify that network node. I'm going to browse for a tag on the server, and then when it brings back the live data cloud node, I'm going to select that. Other live data cloud nodes would also appear in this drop down list. And so what I'll do is I'll come down here into tags that are in my notebook and connect to them. And let's just come in here to channel 1, device 1, and we'll take a look at tag 1 and select that value. Of course, this looks to be an integer tag, so there's a lot of other we could access individual bits if we wanted to, or get any of the alarm status information, keep track of how long it's been on. I'm going to use the OPC Excel feature to copy to the clipboard, paste that into Microsoft Excel. So now I have a workbook running on my notebook here, and I'm going to bring a value from the internet back from that live data cloud node. So now I have that value being hosted over the internet from my notebook, and it's in my local workbook here. So these Excel workbooks could be running anywhere in the world and be accessing that live data. I could also access some tags from the OPC system service. Or I could also access tags just from my local service. So let me slow things down a little bit, and let me show you the actual formulas that are happening in the Excel workbook here. So here, this particular point that's coming from the live data cloud node, you notice that it has the live data cloud server / and then remote SCADA hosting. That's a specific name that's used. And then we have the live data cloud node, and then the tag name running on that live data cloud node. Looking at a tag name that's hosted just directly from the live data cloud of the tags running on its server, we just have the network node / and then the tag name. If it's just a local tag name, we just have the tag name itself. And Excel can be set up to also write as well. So we just use this wizard here to use the write functionality, and then we can write values back to any real-time service. We can also set up some data logging. Let's say I wanted to log values to SQL Server over the internet. So using the configure application, I'm going to go to configure data logging. I'm going to configure my local service, and I'm going to use the one-click database feature. Now if I wanted to, I could just get all of the tags for my local service, but instead what I want to do is I want to get tags from the opcsystems.com server, and not only that, but I want to get the live data cloud nodes that are hosted through that server. So that's actually my own tags again, but again it could be anywhere in the world that I'm connecting to this. And we'll just go continuous logging. We can do also data change as well. We're going to log these values to SQL Server, and so I'll put in that server name. That server engine could be remote as well, as long as you can connect to it, because we have store and forward functionality that you won't lose data when the network connection is lost. Also at the data source, the way we're setting it up now as well. And so we'll just put in a new database name called My Database, and there we have a new table called, let's go back here, we didn't put in a group name. Let's put in a group name called My Data, and we'll use that as the table name. Very good, and we'll select Next, and we can also log to CSV files if you want to. And so now we have that set up. We have this data logging group that was created that's logging these tags, and let's go in and look at one of these tags specifically. There again is that remote SCADA hosting path with the data source server, the live data cloud server, and there's the live data cloud source server. And so looking at this in SQL Server, we should be logging all of the values now from my laptop across the internet into this database engine, and we can maintain up to 100 nanosecond resolution. How can we do this? Because all of the values are queued between the communications when we're getting the values from the data source. So we'll expand the SQL Server databases. We should have a new database in there called My Database. There it is. And we should have a new table called My Data. And let's just query this top 1,000 rows. And there's our data coming from that data source. This data is coming from an OPC server, so each second it's changing. But again, the resolution can be down to 100 nanoseconds. We can also provide real-time trending and also real-time and historical alarms, also historical trending as well. The communication, all the communications going to the central service at Open Automation Software, that central service, it is going to do the work to connect to the database engines, and it's going to do the work to connect to the local OPC servers or .NET applications, and then that data is going to be presented again over that WCF secure connection that's encrypted and compressed. Also, the network load on your system is very light. So let's take a look at trending using our trend and alarm dashboard. You can also use this component in your own .NET application. It's a product called OAS Trend.net. And we see when we're browsing that OPC system service, these are some tags that are in that OPC system service that I connect to. But let's take a look at the live data cloud. And I have these tags that are available on my own server. And again, I'm in Australia. And the server is in Texas in the United States, the live data cloud server. And so my data is coming from Australia up to the United States and then back to my PC here in Australia again. So let's add this trend window into the list. And there we have that real-time data. Notice all of the data come up immediately because my service has been running for more than a minute, and so all that data was cached in a buffer on my service. Let's take a look at the alarms. We can add a new alarm window as well. And under the network nodes, we'll do that same thing of specifying the remote server. And then when we hit the select button, we can then select for the OAS node and add that node. And so let's remove the local node and just look at data from that remote SCADA host node. So now when we add the alarms, we have alarms that are coming from my server. We can even acknowledge those alarms. You can see a live example of trending and alarming at an example website that's online that you can visit with your smartphone at opcweb.com. Here we have the HMI interface where we can see live values being hosted from that server in Texas. And what we can do is we can click on any of the pumps or valves and we can change the tank level. You can do that right on your phone. But if we scroll down, we can see some examples of some real-time trending by expanding real-time and historical trends. So you can see that there's the trend data coming from that server in Texas. And then we can also look at alarm conditions from that server in Texas as well. And if you scroll down a bit further, you can look at real-time and historical alarms from that server as well. So that could be done all on your phone as well. If you want to try this for yourself, visit the website opcsystems.com, and there you will find a download link where you can download opcsystems.net. That's the core service that's used in the communications of the Open Automation software, and it contains all of the products that I've shown you here, plus many more, routing data to other third-party OPC servers, automatically generating reports, and we also have a recipe database connector to bring values back from SQL Server, Oracle, or MySQL back into the real-time service. At the bottom of the main page at opcsystems.com, you'll find an evaluation guide. That's our online help, and you can choose our Getting Started section to walk you through step by step to do any of the things I've already showed you. as well as how to configure .NET applications or HTML5 applications using our Web HMI product, how to connect to Microsoft Excel, I showed you that, how to transfer data from one OPC server to another across the internet or locally as well, how to connect up third-party OPC clients over the internet. All of these products support the Live Data Cloud feature that I've demonstrated here in this video. If you have any questions, send us an email to support@opcsystems.com or call us on the phone at 303-679-0898. We'd like to hear from you. Thank you.